What is in a name? Some parents go with family names, others flock to traditional and popular names, and many like to go the unique route. What are some of the thoughts parents have behind different naming strategies? And what happens if they make a mistake and want to change it? Today we're talking all about baby names and baby name remorse. This is Parent Savers.
Faster than a speeding toddler.
Sit still for just a minute.
Can soothe boo-boos with a gentle kiss.
Would you get down from there?
Able to clean poopy bottoms in a single swipe.
Oh, what did you eat?
Turning frazzled mommies and daddies into procreators of peace and harmony.
Ah, quit touching me!
It's Parent Savers, empowering new parents everywhere.
Welcome to Parent Savers, everybody, broadcasting from the Birth Education Center of San Diego. Parent Savers is your weekly online, on-the-go support group for parents from the newborn years through kindergarten. I'm your host, John O'Reilly. Thanks again to all of our loyal listeners who join us week in and week out. And thanks to those who may be listening for the first time. As you may know, you can join our Parent Savers Club and receive access to special bonus content after each new show, plus special giveaways and discounts from time to time. And if you haven't already, please make sure to download the free Parent Savers app. Not only is it on Android, not only is it in iTunes, but of course, it's also available for Windows Phone. And thanks to one of our listeners for pointing that out. So if you have a Windows Phone, you can also listen to Parent Savers on the go. Let's start this week's conversation about baby names and baby name remorse by going around the room and meeting everyone who's here. And we might as well say our baby names while we're going around.
Yes.
It is going to come out later. But so my name's Johnner. I am 40. I'm the host and a PR guy. And I have three boys, Quinner, Whitaker, and Zyler. 7, 5, and almost 3.
My name is Stacey Spenceley. I'm 31. I'm a certified holistic health coach. And I have one son who is almost 15 months old, and his name is Ivor. Ivor James.
You guys have weird baby names, I have to say.
Don't judge.
Oh, hang on, says the woman next to me. Go right ahead.
I know, right? I'm Suchi Eggleton. I'm sorry. I'm Suchi Naungayan, or Suchi Nekutli Naungayan Eggleton. That's my full name.
That's awesome.
I couldn't let go of my maiden name, so I just added my husband's name to that. So.
And a couple more?
And no, my parents gave me the first two. So.
Nice.
And I am 37. I keep getting that wrong anyway. And I teach college, and I am sort of like half-time mom at home. And I have one child, and her name is Nula Sikotli Naungayan Eggleton.
Nice.
See, yeah, very nice. Well, my name, since we're going all out here, is Erin Elizabeth Esteves Herrera O'Connell de Bowler.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So, yeah, because like Suchi, I had not only my parents, I had 3 last names from my parents.
Oh my goodness.
And I couldn't let go of them when I got married, so I just tacked my husband's on at the end. And I am also known as OG Mamacita.
That's easier to say.
Yeah. For officially geriatric, because I am 44. I had to think about that too. What year is it now? Okay. And I have one son who is 2.5, and his name is Leo Cassius Bowler Esteves.
Nice. Okay, so I'm Sunny. I am 36 years old, I think. I was trying to do the math. And I'm the owner of New Mommy Media, which produces Parent Savers, and we have some other shows I'm sure you guys will love. I have 4 children, and they're all under age 4 right now. And Sayer is my oldest. Urban is my middle guy, my middle boy. And then I have identical twins, Ainsley and Addison.
Yeah, I think we've got the right mix for this topic.
Yeah, so.
I'm not sure. I think we all went like a little bit unique route. So hopefully, I think we can all be sympathetic to traditional name route as well. I'm not saying, but we do have a unique mix here. Before we get started, we actually have a news headline, and this one actually is about babies and baby names as well. And this is from Parenting Magazine, or the parenting website, parenting.com. And it's parents are naming their babies after Game of Thrones. Once upon a time, baby names were a simple affair. Jane, Elizabeth, Susan. Then names like Sunshine and Autumn and Moon Unit came. And
Sunny.
And Sunny, exactly. Right? And now people are naming their kids after Games of Thrones, starting in 2012. On Wednesday, one of the most popular names that's becoming, according to the database, is Khaleesi, Khaleesi. And so another name that's becoming popular is Katniss from the Hunger Games trilogy, Katniss, and Daenerys. There were 21 kids named Daenerys, Dae.
Daenerys.
I haven't seen Game of Thrones, so can you tell?
It's everywhere, just like twitched.
Daenerys. All right. So, hey, Sunny can either save me or make me look really silly. So we'll see what she does.
Silly.
Hey, let's talk about the baby names instead of my lack of pop culture awareness. I don't know, what do you guys think about people naming them after Game of Thrones?
I saw what on Baby Center, they have like a little sidebar, and like I was pregnant at the time, and I saw like, you know, like the latest baby that's been born. It was like Daenerys Stormborn, and I was like, no. I think there's something. Mike is fine. I think there's something weird about naming your kid King and things like that. And so I think I guess like, you know, if you're naming them after like a royalty that's real, that's one thing. But like naming your kid like actually the word King, or like after some like, well, I'm from Minnesota, that's okay with me.
But King, that's just too high.
It's too high.
But it's a little weird naming them after like fake royalty who is in a kind of, they're not always nice people either.
Right.
Yeah.
What's the name of the lion from the wardrobe series?
Oh, I don't know.
Aslan.
Yeah, I have a friend who named her daughter that.
I actually met somebody recently whose daughter named her son after the David Bowie character in Labyrinth.
Oh, I love Labyrinth. What's his name?
Jareth.
Jared. Well, that's kind of. It's kind of like Jared.
Well,
but
so I
with a
thought it was
TH.
Jared
Yeah.
or Gareth, and she's like, no, Jareth, like from Labyrinth.
But what's the difference of naming somebody from a movie character than from a song?
Yeah.
You know, just yesterday somebody was telling me they were named after a Jethro Tull song. So, and one of my girlfriends is named after a Fleetwood Mac song. So,
Yeah, so I guess
I
it's the
mean,
point of inspiration shouldn't
it's
devalue.
pop culture, though. I guess
Yeah.
it's all entertainment.
Yeah,
pop
and I know
culture.
my sister's name is Jennifer, and my mom was really excited to name her Jennifer, and there weren't a lot. And then this movie came out, Love Story, and all the kids were named Jennifer. And
Is
now
that how
there's a
it's
ton
Jennifer
of
started,
Jennifers
the
in it. Yeah, and
crazy
so like
Jennifers?
that really. So I think it happens, and I think it's just the fact that people like me, not very pop culturally aware, are like, what the heck is that name? Not that I'm judging it bad, but I totally butchered the pronunciation, as you can see.
That's the tough
And so I
thing.
think that's that. Wait, what is Eowyn all about? Eowyn, what is that? Even though became a popular name after.
But
Lord
I
of the
think
Rings.
that's been the case throughout history. Historically, you know, we've always gone to pop culture or things that are interesting or new when it has been socially acceptable to use new.
But I think we're kind of sort of jumping into the topic. Let's wrap up this news headline real quick with the prediction from the article, which I think is pretty funny too. So in about 20 years, there's probably going to be a ton of little girls named Elsa from the movie Frozen.
Yeah.
That's probably going to spike in popularity.
Right.
Welcome, everybody, once again to Parent Savers. Today we're talking about baby names and also baby name remorse. So we all have some fairly unique names in the room, and it's all obviously a matter of perspective, too, because I think that Cash has a unique name, Leo Cassius. I guess Leo's kind of common, but then Aaron's like, what are you talking about? That's totally traditional. So just real quick, how did you guys come up with your names? Like, how'd you decide on Ivor?
Well, Ivor, ironically, the census just came out with their new baby name report that my friend posted yesterday on Facebook, so I was looking at it yesterday, and Ivor has never cracked the top 1,000 baby names in the last 100 years since they started keeping track of it, but it was my grandpa's name. Mm-hmm. So
that's cool.
and we've had it picked, we got married in 2006, he was born in 2013, we have had his name picked out since before we were married.
Wow.
And we were talking last night in the car, actually, I didn't even know what the topic of the show was today, and we were like, crap, when we have another one, we have to like think of something. And so my husband's like, well, no, we have some, like, we're like naming male relatives. I'm like, Arnold is out. You know, and so we really liked it because it is unique, but it's not super weird.
And you can pronounce it. I like it. It's simple
well,
enough that.
you can pronounce it.
How do people mispronounce Ivor?
They just say Iver or something.
From Bon Iver, which is
that's what I
actually a
figured.
misspelled French word.
Oh.
Yeah.
So
See, I don't know French.
well, they clearly don't either. They would have spelled it correctly, and it wouldn't be an issue. But
Well, the H is silent, okay?
I know. At the doctor's office, they always call him Ivy, or people think it's Ivan,
Yeah.
Ivan.
and then
There's an R in there, right?
it's Iver.
They just look at it and
They're just not
they assume
reading.
it's
They just
something
don't know
else.
how to read then.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me about your names.
We went the same route actually. So Nuala is it's a very traditional Irish name, and so I guess if we were in England or in Ireland or Scotland, somewhere over there, then there are, then
Plenty
there would be
of
a
them.
lot more to go. But here, and it also, there's a silent A in there. So when people see it, and then they, need to, like at preschool or something, they're a little bit thrown off. We still have some relatives that just misspell it. And then, of course, her middle name, Sikotli, is also a traditional name. We were trying to keep it traditional with, like, my name is Suchi, and it's a Nahuatl name. So it's an indigenous Mexican, pre-Columbian cultural name. So we wanted to also just kind of keep that going. So in the right circles, it's normal.
Yeah.
Right. I guess that's the thing with everything, right? In the right circles, I'm actually normal.
Right.
Well, for me, myself personally, growing up as Aaron, when we lived in the States, it wasn't really that big of a deal, and there weren't a lot of Aarons around. But when we lived in Mexico, forget it. It was just like, even my own relatives couldn't pronounce my name properly, and I would get Eddie, Edith, Erwin. Erwin, where? How? I don't know. But so for Cash's name, we chose Leo for my husband's grandfather. And it's just Leo. It's not, Leonardo or anything like that. And then Cassius is also a family name, just not any of our families. It's I studied classics, and it was the name of the guy who actually incited the assassination of Caesar. So he's the guy that convinced Brutus to kill Caesar.
Ding, let's name a kid after him.
Yeah. Seriously, because for us, it was just very, historical, somebody who incited a change in a revolution. That, and then short for it, Cash. I was just like, that is just so damn cool.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but.
Yeah.
So that's how we chose his names.
Our names, it's always been difficult. We were always able to come up with boys' names, but girls' names were always very difficult for us. So for Sayer and Urban, they were literally, Sayer was a family name. We actually had a distant cousin that was his first name. He's in high school now. And before we even got pregnant, I actually went to his mom and I said, if we have a boy, do you mind if I name him Sayer? Because it was just one of those things that Ryan and I both heard it and then a light bulb went off. And so we knew that's what we were going to name Sayer. And then Urban, everyone, I'm originally from Ohio and I went to Ohio State. So everyone automatically assumes that their current head coach is named Urban Meyer.
I actually asked you about this a few months ago. I had a light bulb go on in my head. I'm like, wait, you went to Ohio State and the coach is Urban Meyer. Tell me about it.
Yeah. So we didn't name it after the coach, but it was inspired by him because my husband follows sports a lot, right? And this was months before Urban Meyer even became the coach of the team. But he was being considered. And Ryan's just kind of talking to me and, mentioning that they're looking at all these coaches and just mentions a long list of coaches that they're thinking about, one of which was Urban Meyer. And I just said, Urban, that is the coolest name ever. And he's like, you like that name? And I said, yeah. And he said, okay, if we have another boy, we'll name him Urban. So anyways, not because of Urban Meyer, but we just like the name and that's how we heard it.
He was the impetus.
Yes, the impetus.
I went to high school with a guy named Urban, but
Did you really?
he went by Tony. But yeah. His was a family
They're so
name.
similar.
I think it was his middle name, but he said it was a family name, and he thought it was weird, so he went by Tony.
For the twins, Ainsley and Addison, I knew I wanted names that weren't too close, but something similar since they're twins. And I was hesitant about doing two different A's because I have heard, people when you sign initials and stuff like that, if you're a twin, it gets mixed up and whatever. And so I was hesitant about that, but I made sure that their middle initial was different. And really, it was just a name I liked. I heard it was actually a news reporter on TV from Fox News. Her name's Ainsley Earhart, and I thought it was really pretty, and so I kind of stole it. And then I gave the other name up to my husband. I said, "Okay, I named one. You pick. It has to be an A." I gave him all the criteria, and he came up with Addison, which is now kind of a popular name, and it's kind of frustrating me because I thought.
You wish it was more unique?
I do. I'm not going to say I have baby name Remorse because she's a twin, so I still think it's really special. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, everyone's naming their baby Addison.
Well, I do kind of teeter occasionally between the baby name Remorse and not. I always question, we were very particular because we wanted Cash to have a name that functioned in the multiple languages that we speak.
Oh, yeah.
And because that whole Edine, Irwin thing just traumatized me. So we wanted something that would be easily pronounceable and easily moved culturally. We also wanted something that wasn't too infantile, because there's nothing like talking to a grown man with like
a baby name.
So that's why we chose Leo Cassius, because he can then decide if he wants to be Cassius, if he wants
What's an
to be
example
Cash.
of a baby name?
Joey,
Joey,
Bobby,
okay.
Billy.
Johnny.
A lot of those are nicknames,
Those
though.
nicknames.
I know people whose names,
that's their name.
That's their name. That's their man name.
Well, look, so my man name is Johnner, right?
Yeah,
and
but
it's a unique thing. And so my actually birth certificate name is John William Reel Jr. So I'm John Jr. And my dad's John. And
Jingleheimer Schmidt?
yeah, exactly. No, exactly. And so my mom, as soon as I was born, called me Johnner as just kind of a John Jr. abbreviation. And I think the assumption was, by the time like I can really understand things, that I'll be John. Like it's just like a thing, but it just stuck. And from my perspective, why would I change? You've always called me Johnner. Like what's different? So we had I always liked having a unique name, and my wife is Christina, and so she would say that like she'll call people that she even knows and say, "Hey, this is Christina." Christina who? Like your best friend, Christina?
Yeah.
And so she was really on board with coming up with a unique name. So we decided we were going to add to a name with Quinner, and so we came up. She actually came up with Quinner, and then after that, when we were found out we're having, well, actually we didn't know if we were going to have another boy, but we had boy names, and we were going to keep the thing going, and so that's what we did is we were coming up with names: Quinner, Whitaker. Which is just the name I always thought was cool. I think it maybe goes back to Lou Whitaker for the Detroit Tigers sports. But and then Zyler, I think we really wanted a Z name, just for some reason.
Because it's different.
Z sings Z was singing to us, so we were trying to come up with a Z name. You know, it's interesting the reasons why we all have kind of different lines. I think of like, you're like, yeah, I was just inspired by a news character, but then you're like, I went back to Roman literature and wanted to impact.
I feel so shallow.
And so, no, the point is you shouldn't, right? Like we all have different things of what has the meaning to us and what
That's
can inspire
my point
us.
about the inspiration. It's like, why should we devalue someone who's being inspired by Game of Thrones, or
or a football coach,
or a football coach?
I mean, it's all pop culture in one way or another.
Yeah. And I think that having a unique name myself, Suchi, and you might be able to relate to this too, and Sunny to some extent, is I like to think that I'm a little more open to hearing different names on people, because I've heard a lot of different things about my name or funny mispronunciations, and just kind of roll with it and say, you know what, names are different and unique for people. And I see people get really angry that people name their kids certain things, and I'm like,
Do they get angry because I think it's all and I feel like special ownership over it, because we have unusual names, you and I. And so I do, and I'm one of those people. Like when I hear a really unusual name, I always wonder why they do that. Because like I didn't have a choice over the matter.
Do you wish you had a more normal name?
There were I know I'm going ahead of it, but it's never okay to make fun of somebody's name, even as an adult.
That's what I think.
And somebody the other day just asked me, "What are the weirdest names? Like, what's the worst butchering somebody's ever come up with your name?" And I'm like, that doesn't seem like it's like resurrecting all this stuff that dates back from 1979 and all the way to like several
Joner
weeks ago.
Did anybody ever call you Boner?
No, exactly. I mean,
I think that's a
Joner
good point,
Boner.
though, because Stacy's a very 80s name, and people misspell it a lot.
So would you like the name Sequins etched on your body? And by the way, it's spelled capital C apostrophe KWEN. And this is Brigid Santiago on Facebook pointed this name out to us.
We asked some people their strangest names.
Yeah.
In a way, I kind of admire the creative spelling that kind of goes into it, because I could spell sequin probably 100 different ways now and not come up with that way.
Yeah.
Yes,
true.
Yes.
And also Annie Laird mentions Pilot Inspector, the name Pilot Inspector, and that's I was going to mention that too. See, I think that when the name becomes comical, or overtly evocative, like Messiah, we did
talk about that.
That's where I feel that the child is being kind of subjected to unnecessary ridicule because of the parent's own narcissistic view of a name.
But naming itself is a little bit narcissistic, and it starts with us, and we all want to be proud of our name, the names that we give our kids.
Sure.
And they just feel right, but then it's going to transfer to them, and that's what we have to keep in mind. We've talked a lot about first names, and we'll talk a little bit more, but there's also the whole middle name and last name issue, too, that comes up. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Parent Savers, everybody. Today we're talking about baby names and baby name remorse. Before we get to baby name remorse, last names are actually an issue with baby names as well. Not only, sometimes there's hyphenated names, sometimes same-sex couples have to decide how to do it. Sometimes middle names are part of it too. So beyond just the first name, there's other considerations too. So Erin, you kept a lot of your family names, yes. Right? And then did you pass that on down to Cash as well?
Yes, we did. Because for me, and this is totally proto-feminist right here, but for me it just seemed absolutely ridiculous that I would have to give up my entire family history the moment I married my husband. Mm-hmm. I was offended and assaulted by that. So, but that's just me.
but you found a way to take a stand.
Right. And so I just tacked his name on. And legally, I didn't tack his name on. I tack his name on for his mother's benefit, to be honest.
So you never went through your social security card?
Everything. My social security card is ridiculoly long because I've had all of those names my entire life, which is why my signature looks like a cockroach got stepped on, as my dad says. But so I wanted Cash to have that ancestry, that history, that link, but I didn't want him to have the enormous name where I would have to go on to the margins, when I'm filling out forms. So that's why we just said, okay, Bull or Estevez. We'll just leave it at that. No hyphen.
Was there a discussion on which should come first?
Yes. And so we decided to follow the Mexican tradition of paternal followed by maternal.
I know that Christina, one of her coworkers, when they got married, he actually took the wife's name. Yeah. That became their family name. Like obviously our convention here is to take the husband's surname. Doesn't always happen. So there are ways also, and you have that moment of that magical moment in the hospital, or I guess I don't know how it's done at a home birth. But I know at a hospital, they bring you the form. There's the woman that works at the hospital or the man that works at the hospital that brings it to you. And you have so much power in that moment. Are we sure we really want to do this? Right? And the thing is, once that moment's passed, it can be really hard to change it. You're not screwed, but it's so easy to do what you want right in that moment. And then after that, it's really hard.
Yeah. And can I just say that they should never give that form to a drugged out mama by herself, which is what they did to me.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah. So technically, I mean, I really screwed up because I was still so brain fogged. I want to say hi. I don't know what was going on, but I gave my kid these weird last names.
What did you do?
We had to go through all of this hassle to legitimately and legally change his name because I effed up majorly.
No, you did.
You filled out the form wrong?
Did. Yes. Yes.
Were they your last names or somebody else's?
Yeah, they were my last names, but they were our last names, but they were all out of order. And then I threw in my mother's maiden name.
Just in case he ran out.
I'm trying to picture when the card came back or whatever, and Matt saw it.
Yeah.
And he was
He's like, honey, what happened? I was just like, and I remember telling him, I'm like, honey, they had me sign something. They had me fill something out, but I can't remember exactly. It was you got to talk to the nurse.
So technically you could, I was just going to say, technically you, in that moment, you can name your baby, even last name, you can name them whatever you want. It doesn't have to follow any pattern.
No.
That's amazing to me. I didn't even consider that.
Yeah.
So did you change it at the hospital?
No, you can't do that. So, you had to go through, I had to contact the state and all this stuff. That makes sense. So his birth certificate is now 6 pages long.
Well, tell me a little bit about your experience, because this then, for folks that there is a thing called baby name remorse, right? Mm-hmm. And Sunny even admitted to maybe having it a teensy bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But for people that say, you know what, I think that we want to change the name, what was that process like?
So the process was, first I had to contact the city, the registry, the county of San Diego, and I had to fill out paperwork, and it was very specific. Mm-hmm. And they sent it back to me twice, because because I had made minor errors on it. And then you had to have things notarized. Yeah, it was very lengthy, and it took about, I would say, maybe about 2 months, 2.5 months to get everything squared away.
And then it costs money too?
And it costs money, yes. So I had to pay money every time I got paperwork sent back to me.
Really?
I had to pay money. And, yeah, so from now on, his birth certificate will always have to have I can never just give a copy of his birth certificate. It will always have to be this 6-page thing with all of these certified and notarized originals.
Oh, and that's expensive.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, hi. Drugged Mama's pen clipboard. No.
Well, for middle names, I know for us, where we settled on was like, you know what, middle names don't really matter that much to us, right? Well, what I mean is that, like, in daily life, for both myself and Christina, our middle names haven't really come up.
And see,
like, but for others, it has.
Yeah, Matt. The majority of people in his family actually go by their middle names.
Yeah. Which I guess, so maybe that goes to their first names are given for traditional reasons, or
so
for
they just
family
swap
reasons.
it, because I view middle names as kind of more traditional, tradition in the same meaning that it's a family member, something you're trying to honor someone. But you're saying maybe they
That's
flipped
what we
it.
did.
And
But but some families flip it.
Yeah, but also, for example, in my husband's case, 2 or 3 days, there's a 2 or 3 day difference where he had a male cousin born in the same city, and they were given the exact same name.
Oh boy.
Got it.
First, middle, and last name.
Yeah.
Same.
Oh wow.
And same city.
And same city. So my husband goes by his middle name, and the cousin goes by the first name.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
For us, for Quinter's middle name, I think it's Diego, and we were just like, hey, we live in San Diego. Like, let's just go with Diego. And then we're like, oh, maybe we should honor people with the middle name on the second one. So for Whitaker, his middle name is Johns. It's with an S because both of my dad and Christina's dad, that's their name.
Oh, that's
cool. So it's
Johns.
And then for Zyler, it's Marlon, and we combined Christina's mom's name and my mom's name, Maria and Loie. Marlon. So we finally got to the honoring place, but the first one I feel like we were just kind of like, oh, whatever, Diego.
If you have a James in your life, Diego is the Spanish version of James. So there you go.
Well, we don't. It was just because
I was trying to.
it was because of San Diego.
Oh, there you go.
Did you guys put a lot of thought into the middle names?
Well, we did. I mean, his middle name is James because it's my husband's middle name.
Yeah.
It's my husband's dad's and grandpa's middle names. My father-in-law and his dad had different middle names, so he wasn't a junior or anything. And my mother-in-law's brother is James as well. So that was the joke at our wedding, was like, if you don't know an older man's name, it's probably James. Just call him Jim. You know. But I think that for us, like, also, I know, so, like, for some friends, what can come in is the initials. And so another option for his middle name was my husband's other grandfather, whose name was Russell, but we didn't want him to have the initials IRS because that just seems
It just doesn't seem.
Or a friend of mine, her name's Angela, and her last name starts with an S, and they wanted to make her middle name Suzanne, but did not.
And you can't because
because boo. Or that's the same thing as my husband's first name is Anderson, my first name is Stacy, and our last name is Spenceley, so we can never have anything monogrammed.
Or you can, and it would be awesome.
Well, unless you go first.
In some circles, that's normal.
Just ass backwards.
Either way, either we really win or we really lose.
Well, and so there's the things you got to think about before naming. And I read a tip that says if you're thinking of giving your child a name and it's a unique name, like, go to a restaurant or go to the library and use it and see how you feel using it.
There you go.
Oh,
That
just
was
say,
kind of-
hi, I'm then whatever the name is,
My
and see
name's
how
Roosevelt
people.
Franklin.
Oh, that's interesting.
Also, a really good tip is to go to who'sinjail.com. Swear to God.
And avoid those names?
Yeah,
or?
because my father-in-law, there is somebody who has his exact name, and has a really long record.
See, the only thing that I do is like go to whatever, like GoDaddy or something, see if the URL is available. That's my bottom line. If I can get your URL, then it's been approved.
Even if it's .us or .info?
No,
or
it has to be .com.
Has to be
.com.
.com.
All my kids have .coms.
And you registered them?
Yeah, all of them. All 4
You
kids.
are too funny.
That is so
That's
modern.
important. That's gonna be so important. I believe
is very
that's gonna be
modern, isn't it?
And me, I have my
Unless they
maiden
completely do away
name.com
with
and
that
I've got
convention.
sunnygalt.com.
Unless that's like the equivalent of buying a Betamax tape.
I
That's
know.
right.
I
Well, no.
think that people move around and are hard to find so much. But if you go to the internet and you can pick some, I mean, to me, it's like having a home where anyone can find you if they
What's
want
on
to.
those pages right now?
I think it just forwards to
Forwards
like
to New
my
Mommy Media?
No, it doesn't. I think it just forwards to my personal one because I put pictures on my personal page of them and stuff like that, my personal
Got it.
website.
That's an interesting idea, and
Yeah.
I don't mean to belittle it. It's just, it's interesting.
okay.
It's very modern. All right. Well, thanks so much for the conversation about baby names. If you guys have any additional thoughts you want to share, please share them with us on Facebook or via Twitter. Facebook's where we see a lot of the action on the Parent Savers page. So for more information, go to our website, parentsavers.com. We'll have all of this info up on the episode page as well as some links to some resources. After the show, we'll have a little bit more conversation. We're going to talk about when do you come up with conventions? If you have multiple kids, a lot of people with multiple kids, myself included, have kind of a thing with their name. And so I want to talk especially to you guys with just one kid to see if you guys have kept that in mind. So we'll talk about that as the bonus content.
We have a funny story to share with you today. This is part of our Parenting Oops segment. It's when we ask all of our listeners, okay, what's your craziest parenting moment? And they send us their stories. So this one comes from Susie, and Susie says, my 2-year-old daughter and I hustled onto an airplane and settled ourselves, she in the aisle seat. Across the aisle from her was a nice-looking man in his 40s, and he began to engage my kid, asking some basic questions. Clearly feeling comfortable with him, my shy child asked loudly, do you have a penis? Apparently my gender anatomy lessons had sunk in. Oh my gosh, can you imagine being on an airplane and, it being quiet and then your child just busting this statement out, Susie? Oh my gosh, I totally feel you on this one. It's absolutely hysterical what our 2-year-olds, our toddlers will say, right? So thanks so much for sending this in. If you have a funny parenting oops you want to share on our show, you can call our voicemail, which is 619-866-4775. You can also post something to our Facebook page or send us an email through the website.
That wraps up today's episode of Parent Savers. Thanks so much for listening. Don't forget to check out our sister shows, Preggy Pals for expecting parents, The Boob Group for moms who breastfeed, and Twin Talks for parents of multiples. This is Parent Savers, empowering new parents.
This has been a New Mommy Media production. The information and material contained in this episode are presented for educational purposes only. Statements and opinions expressed in this episode are not necessarily those of New Mommy Media and should not be considered facts. While such information and materials are believed to be accurate, it is not intended to replace or substitute for professional medical advice or care, and should not be used for diagnosing or treating healthcare problem or disease or prescribing any medication. If you have questions or concerns regarding your physical or mental health or the health of your baby, please seek assistance from a qualified healthcare provider.
New Mommy Media is expanding our lineup of shows for new and expecting parents. If you have an idea for a new series, or if you're a business or organization interested in joining our network of shows through a co-branded podcast, visit newmommymedia.com. Hey mamas, don't forget to check out Mighty Moms. It's our online community built for new moms just like you. Not only can you connect with other moms, but you can also join us backstage for special mom-only online events. And you'll also be notified when we're recording so you can join us as a special guest. Visit our website, newmommymedia.com, and click on the Mighty Moms banner. It's free. That's newmommymedia.com. See you there.